and it really is good to be together on Shabbat. Mimi, could you light our Shabbat candles for us, please? And the blessing is on page 120. Do you want me to read it in English? Afterwards? Or in Hebrew first? But English afterwards would be fine. Touch your fingers.
Start to get warm. Okay.
We normally wouldn't be here, but we have celebrities, so.
Thank you. Well, there were
There we go.
candles. That seems to happen every week.
Try it again. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
We'll sing it.
Yes, let's sing it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Could you please join me on page 124 at the top? We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long journey and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightest of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. And turn to page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. Please rise for the Baruch. Page 146. Baruch 148. Please join me in Hebrew. Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv arvim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mashanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umasader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom b'layla golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila. Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We haven't done that in Hebrew in a long time, and I've missed that. We're getting ready for the Shema, and I always, since I have a daughter who lives in Australia, I think of the Shema in terms of the whole world, and it started 18 hours ago or more, probably New Zealand, which would be a little bit more, and it's working its way around the world, and we're getting closer to the end of its cycle, but we're part of the Jewish community that it goes all around the world, and so I try to think about that when we're saying that prayer. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher nochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlektecha v'derech uv'shachvecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam liot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha leman tizkaru v'asitem kol mitzotai Utim lelechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. And join me at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get there from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. And the next page is Micha Mocha. Adonai Please turn the page to 160 for the Hashkivenu. And this is a prayer that I say to myself whenever I get into bed. I sort of sing it to myself, but I try to think of what the word, more of an exact Hebrew translation. Hashkivenu, cause us to lie down, Adonai Eloheinu, our God, to peace, to l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu, to cause us to stand, shomreinu, guard us, l'chaim, for life, ufros aleinu, cover us, sukkot shlomecha, with a shelter of your peace. And it's beautiful poetry, but it's meaningful. So please join us. Please rise for the tefillah. And then join me on the prayers following the initial prayer. We haven't done it in a really long time, and I don't want to forget them. Adonai sapatativta ufia gitahilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagabor, Nora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bechonei HaKol, Bezocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, Umivi Gula Lifnei Be'ehem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Et HaRab L'Hoshia, Mechayei Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim B'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umechayei Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Pal Guvurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memid, Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai l'chayei hakol. HaKadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh v'Kadoshim b'chol yom v'lachu l'sela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el HaKadosh. And spend a few minutes on silent prayer. Join us on page 180 for Oseh Shalom. Shalom, Ramah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Le'achol Yisrael, Imru, Amen, Oseh Shalom. Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yaakov Yisrael. And this is the time in our service when we think about those in our community that need prayers for healing. And I need to find the Misha Barak list. Let's see, healing list. Harris Nussbaum, Lynn Mikowski, Lana Massey, Kevin Brackett, Jenny Sims, Eileen Conklin, Nancy Jeanette, Michelle Camisia, Joshua Hyman, Dylan Bonnick, Diane Butler, Elsa Lach, Tony Wine, Elena Goldman, Mark Charney, Roger Widman, Ralph Garber, Maggie Sherman, Colleen James, and Michael Edwards. Does anybody have names they would like to add? I don't see any hands. Okay. So we're going to, please join us on the Misha Barak on page 371. Help us find This week's Torah portion is Toldot, and it's the story of Isaac, son of Abraham, and it mostly focuses on his two twins. Last week's Torah portion, the life of Sarah, or Chaye Sarah, Abraham sent his servant to get a wife for Isaac from his family in his native land, Padam Aram, and came back with Rebekah. So this parsha starts after their marriage. It continues with Isaac now married to Rebekah, and Rebekah's having difficulty getting pregnant. Isaac prays on her behalf. The prayer is answered. Rebekah conceives, and she feels children struggling in her womb, and prays and inquires of Adonai. And in the Hebrew, it's Yud-He-Vav-He, which is God's personal name. Adonai translates just as Lord, and we don't say his personal name, but she's praying to personal God. And she gets an answer to her prayer, and it's told, 2 nations are in your womb, 2 separate peoples shall issue from your body. One people shall be mightier than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. The twins were born, the first one red and hairy, and that's Esau, and apparently somehow that has to do with his name. And then his brother Jacob, who is holding his heel. The boys were very different, as oftentimes our children come out very different, and they come out the way they come out. Esau was an outdoorsman, a skillful hunter. Jacob was a mild man who stayed in camp. Rebekah favored Jacob, and Isaac favored Esau. Probably not good role models. We all try not to do that to our children. Jacob gets Esau to sell his birthright in exchange for a meal of lentils and bread when Esau comes back famished from hunting. Later, Rebekah helps Jacob trick his father Isaac into giving the blessing that was meant for Esau. When Isaac was old and couldn't see well, he asked Esau to go out and hunt and bring back a meal. And in quotes, that I may give you my innermost blessing before I die. Rebekah overheard that and prepared a meal and coached Jacob into tricking his father into giving him the blessing. Esau comes back and finds out what has happened and is very angry. He also begs his father for a blessing, and eventually his father does give him a blessing. It's a different blessing that more relates to him, and that in some ways helped redeem the story a little bit, because all of our children need our blessings, and they have to be individual for the child, but let's see. The deception made Esau want to kill his brother. So Rebekah encouraged Jacob to go back to her family to get away from Esau, which is what sent Jacob to find Rachel, actually. Those of us with more than one child know that each child is born unique when they come into the world. And each child deserves to be appreciated for the gifts that they have. And they're so frequently different gifts, very different from each other. And sometimes like us and sometimes very different from us. And it takes a little bit more strength from us to appreciate the ones that are going on a different path. But I know I need prayers in that area, because it's way easier with children who are more like us than the ones that are different. But the ones that are different need our blessings and our love and appreciation, maybe more because they see the difference. I know my father took to his deathbed feeling rejected from his family, so kids you never lose it. So it's really important to work on ourselves to help give our kids the love and blessings that they need from us. Anyway, that's my take on that part. Okay, we are now to the Elena, which is on page 586. And Mark is on our board. He's going to come up and give the announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Mark Zamrick, and it's a pleasure to read the announcements this evening. Before I do, while I'm up here, I want to give a great thanks to Nadia and Katie for what a beautiful job you did this evening in filling in for the Rabbi and Gordon. We really appreciate your help in that regard. Thank you so much. We're going to have religious school in Shorashim. We'll begin at 9:30 on Sunday morning. We also have some activities that are coming up for Hanukkah, and one of them, starting out Hanukkah week, will be the Warriors Jewish Heritage Night on December 6th. If you're interested and would like to discuss going to the game, you need to contact either Rabbi Goldstein or Dr. Stephen Guggenheim by the 10th of November. I can tell you that they got some for the Warriors tickets, which are very, very expensive. The ticket prices that they have for this night is very reasonable, comparatively speaking. So if you enjoy the Warriors and you'd like to go, please make an effort to try to go to this. It'll be a great evening. Next Friday, we are going to do something we've done in the past. We're going to have our first birthday blessing Shabbat. So if you have a November birthday, you will receive a special blessing at the services on November the 12th. So next Friday night. Saturday the 13th at 10:30 a.m., join Rabbi Niles for Torah study. And in the evening at 7 o'clock will be the Ladies Shebrews event. Will be hosted by Carolyn Rebbitzin. Space is limited for Shebrew, so please RSVP to make sure there's space open for you to attend. On Monday, the 15th, Soul Sisters Book Club will meet on Zoom at 4 o'clock with Rachel Friedman hosting for the book of V by Anna Solomon. And I'd also like to give warm birthday wishes this week and anniversary wishes. First, happy birthday to Farrah Garber, Ron Schneider, Joan Harris, Suzanne Mason, Irene Yesowich, Steve Gordon, Lily Miller, and Roberta Solomon. And a very happy anniversary, I believe it's the 14th anniversary, to Dave and Charlene DeBro. So with that, have a wonderful week. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Mark. This is the time in our service when we think of those who have passed in the last year. And I'm going to first read from the Kaddish list. Rosie Rosenthal, Elliot Kapchan, Bill Chayet, Ed Hames, Arthur Waldinger, Judy Donaldson, Elizabeth Montner, Helen Goodman, Michael Duff Fisher, Margaret Mary Olivito, Ahava Ben David, Dr. I. Harold Shevlin, Isadora Smith, Sanford Rubin, Stuart Paley, Bonnie Kapaloff, Mamie, Dr. Ian Miller, Jimmy Rabb, Sandra Somack, Michael Gordon, Larry Elson, Arnold Trombler, Erica Cornelison, Gladys Shubin. And from the Yahrzeit list, people who have passed at this time in past years: Paul Benko, Dora Goldstein, Morris Nussbaum, Carl Friedman, Nidra Rosie Rosenthal, Miriam Schmidt Persillet, Samuel Cooper, Pat Warfield, Vicky Kazes, Orville S. Cohen, Annie Nussbaum, Joseph Sorjan, Rosalie Becker, Bernice Cabral, Marilyn Finkelstein, Stephen Gardner. Did anybody else have somebody they'd like to name? Let's see. Okay. Please rise and join me for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. B'et Kadal, B'et Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, B'yalma Dibra Kirte, B'yamlik Malchute, B'chaychon U'yamechon, Israel, Ba'agala U'bizman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavarach, Leolam Ulamei Maya, B'it Barak, B'it Tabak, B'it Bar, Ram Naseh, B'it Hadar, B'it Haleh, Lal, Shmei Dekudisha, Barichu, Le'ala Min Kol Birchata, B'shirata, Tushbechata, B'nechemata, Damiran, B'yalma, B'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, B'chaye Aleinu Yekol Yisrael, B'imru Amen. Osei Shalom B'mermav, Hu Yasei Shalom, Aleinu B'yakol Yisrael, B'imru Amen. May their memories be for our blessing. And Kiddush and Motzi. Let's see. We should. Roy and Sue, could you come and help with the... Okay, I guess it's you and me.
We have a page. Page 123.
Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
That's it.
I was going to do the long one, but my mouth is dry at this point.
Are we opening this?
Okay. L'chaim.
Do you wanna- Who's taking it?
You can take it. I can't eat it.
Just say the blessing.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avo.
Tava. Okay. We did that.
Okay, now we can do the ending song.
Okay, my ending song. It's been
A
Bob.
favorite. Having music is a favorite of mine. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
Have a peaceful Shabbat, and thank you all for being here.